I'll teach you moral science, chapter number 4, and the name of the lesson is generosity. Yesterday, I had just read the lesson and I had told you that I would explain the next day, that means today, and I'm going to explain the lesson. Since it is a moral science subject, so you have to understand the lesson very deeply, you have to listen to me very carefully. It is just not a lesson, it is lesson for implementing in life. It is just not a lesson to read and understand. We have to implement whatever we read in moral science in our life. So let's say once upon a time there was a boy walking through a forest looking for fruit when accidentally he got lost. A boy was there. He was walking through a forest. The forest was dense and he was going through the forest and he was looking for some fruit to eat. At the same time, accidentally he got lost. He lost the way in the forest. He ran around in the darkness for a while. He ran here and there in the forest because he was lost. He found himself in the very dense forest. He did not understand where to go, so he ran around here and there in the darkness of the forest for a while, when he could hear a loud disturbance in the distance. In some distance he could hear some loud noise. Some distant loud disturbance means loud noise. He followed the noise. He went towards the noise, towards the place from where the noise was coming, and discovered, and he found out that it was coming from a small cottage. There was a small cottage, small house inside the forest. Though it is just imagination, we never find in reality into the forest, but it's you have to understand that it was a cottage, small house into the forest, and the noise was coming from that house with the light at its window. There was there was light coming from the window of that cottage. So he went towards the house where the light was coming from the window of that house. The boy thought that maybe he could spend the night with the people inside. He thought it was that was the dark forest, dense forest, and he was lost there. So he thought that yes, he could spend the night, he could stay the night in that house with the people who are living inside the forest, inside the house. So he thought that it could be safe to stay inside the house along with the people there. He knocked on the door. Knocked means he knocked on the door several times. He made some noise to call the people from people inside, but no one answered. Nobody replied. He just knocked on the door for several times. There was still a huge racket coming from inside. Though he knocked on the door, no one replied, but the huge racket coming from inside means a huge noise. Racket means here loud noise coming from inside. And the boy decided to enter. He thought that he would enter into the house. When he opened the door by himself, there was total silence. Nobody was speaking. Stepping inside, when he stepped inside, he saw thousands of shocked eyes looking back at him. Thousands of eyes were looking at him. Who were there then? The vases, some containers, small vases were there. Mirrors, paintings, chairs. Everything in that house was alive. Just imagine, the things were there, not the people, but they all were alive. Chairs were alive, paintings were alive, vases were alive, mirrors were alive, books were there. So everything in that house was alive. Means they were making noise. Good evening, said the boy. Boy said, good evening. Once again, the racket started. Racket means the sound, loud noise started coming Now the sound was coming now, means they started speaking. This time made up of replies and joyful outbursts. Joyful outbursts. They replied with a little bit anger. Outburst means their anger. Wow, how scary! He heard someone saying. Someone said from there, from these things. Someone says, "Wow, how scary! How dangerous!" He heard someone saying, "Bah, it's just a little boy." He heard from behind him. Behind him, somebody spoke. Bah, it was just a boy, little boy. The annoying din of voices continued for a while. For a while, din of voices means loud noise. Loud noise. Annoying means very, what is a slightly angry noise, angry voice, angry sound. Continued for a while. You can hear sometimes. You also make the sound in the class, no? You do not hear. Listen to the teachers, and you make start whenever the class is vacant, no teacher is there, only you are there in the class. At the time you also make noise. That type of annoying noise again started. "Silence!" said the boys. Boys said, "Silence!" as loud as he could. The boy also shouted in a loud voice, "Silence! Where am I?" The boy asked the things, "Where am I?" He was surprised to see the things were alive, the things were speaking, making noise. So he was also surprised. And when he heard a loud noise coming from the things, he angrily shouted, "Stop! No, stop making noise!" Once again, all the objects in the house answered him simultaneously. Simultaneously means all together. He again, all the things answered him simultaneously, all together. "Stop, please!" When all the things simultaneously spoke, simultaneously made the noise, the boy said, "Stop, please!" Begged. He begged, means the boy begged, "Stop, please!" Now the boy again got angry and said, You the table, please answer. Who is in charge here? Who is the head?" In charge means who is the head of among you? "And how come you are all alive? How is it possible that all the things, objects, not the people, all the objects were alive?" The boy asked the table. "That little wand, the one next to your feet, he used to be in charge, but his magic has run out. He shared it all out between us." The table replied that, pointing to the boy, "Next to you" means next to the boy, means table said, "Next to you, just a little far away, next to you, your feet, he used to be in charge," means the wand. Do you know wand? Wand means magical stick. You see, then sometimes the angel also used to carry you in the movies, and in some story you see one angel, no, holds stick. That is also called wand, magical wand. So magical wand, the little wand, the table said that stick is there, magic, that little wand is there. That wand was the in charge. He used to be in charge, but his magic has run out. The table replied that magical wand, that little wand used to be the used to be in charge, but his magic has run out now. Run out means no magical power is there. He said it all out between us. The magical wand, magical stick, used to be in charge, but now he said all his magical power among us, means among books, chairs, mirrors, and all whatever things were there. the magical wand shared all his magical power. So right now he does not have any magical power. No magic power is magical power is left with him. Indeed, a small wand by the boy's feet was the only object in the whole house that didn't seem alive. Of course, everybody was speaking, everything, every object was speaking. Only one thing was there that seemed to be dead. That was that stick, little stick, magical wand. Now no more magic. So it was, it seemed to be dead. Means it was just remained there without any movement. All were speaking. All objects were talking. All were seemed to be alive, but that still that small stick was remained there without movement. The boy thought about trying to rectify the situation. The boy thought about trying to rectify the situation. The boy thought he would rectify, means he would correct the situation, he would normalize the situation, he would make the situation normal. Aren't you all ashamed to be selfish? The boy said, aren't you all ashamed to be so selfish? You are so selfish, you have become so selfish. You got all magical power from that small stick, and now it is dead. It has no life. It seemed it has no life. You all are speaking, you all are alive. That means you got power from it and it became lifeless now. So you don't you feel same? The boy asked other objects. Why don't you give the wand back some of his magic? The boy asked other objects, why don't you give the wand back his some magic? Means some power you have also to return. A light murmur began to fill the room. Small murmur means little voice, murmuring voice, began to fill the room. Means again the objects were talking now. And the old mirror was there. Mirror, you know the mirror where we look our face. Old mirror finally spoke in a low voice. Okay, agreed. The mirror was ready to return his power with one of its eyes. Mirror had two eyes, so one of his eyes. Okay, one of his eyes. From one eye, the mirror fired a drop of golden light at the little wand. He gave some power from his one eye to the little one, to the little stick. And after a few seconds, the wand began to coughing and spluttering. As the fire of golden light came out from the mirror's one eye and dropped into the light, into the stick, magical wand started coughing like that. Coughing and spluttering started speaking with difficulty. He's alive, said a book. Book said, yeah, he's alive now. What was alive? The wand was alive. Wand means stick was alive. Earlier it was seemed to be dead. But now as the power light from mirror's one eye dropped into the stick, it became alive. Book said, yeah, he's alive. His book also became happy. And the book fired its own little drop of golden magic. Now book also book fired its own light. Again, book also gives some power from itself to the wand. The others followed, and then everybody, now whoever were there, like table was there, I told you some were there, chairs were there, mirrors were there, paintings were there, vases were there, all started giving some power now, returned actually to the wand. Each sharing some of their magic with the little wand, which responded by taking on a brilliant, gleaming appearance. Now, after getting power from all other back to little stick, little wand now started seeming, means gleaming now. Gleaming means it was glittering now, so light, bright, and adorned by hundreds of different colors. Means it adorned the different colors. So now it's a beautiful, colorful, magical stick. Now he got back the power from all others. Filled with joy, he became so happy. The wand floated up into the boy's hand and came to boy's hand. Now the stick came up and came to boy's hand and covered him with a cloud of stars. Covered him. The boy was covered with a cloud of stars. Means so many stars twinkling, floating. Means color. You have seen that in the movie and some story books. You have seen that the angel, angel is covered with stars. So many stars. So the boy also boy was also covered with so many stars. Cloud of stars means so many stars. That was just because of the little stick wand. Okay. And so it was that the boy became the forest wizard. Now wizard means here the magical the man with the magical power. As you have seen that the angel the angel holds a stick, wand, and just move anything, then it becomes magical. So same thing, the boy became a wizard, forest wizard. He was the person now of the forest having magical power. And with great happiness and wisdom, he lived out his life. Now he started living there only in the forest, becoming forest wizard, forest powerful man, and encouraging all to share what they had. But one most important thing we got to learn here, that the boy becoming forest wizard taught all the people, encouraged all whatever or whoever were there in the forest, in the cottage. He started teaching or started encouraging to share everything, whatever you have, whatever they had. So this is the important thing, that whatever you have, you share, you will get happiness. If you keep whatever you have with you only, then you may be happy, but others may not be happy. So if you share your things, then you will also be happy, they will also be happy. On being happy, the whole world becomes happy. So it is the most important thing, and it is very much required to share everything you have. That will give you the happiness. So that's all for today. Next day, perhaps in the next class or just after this video, I will give you the exercises to do. You have to try. I'll help you, and you also become a happy person by sharing whatever you have, no matter how much you have. Okay, good.